core layer, and you can stretch your L2 network over that. Between this EVPN from DC gateway to DC gateway between the service provider network. And what is the takeaway from EVPN is like with the 50% of service provider had EVPN deployed somewhere in 2022, and now it is growing and growing every year. So EVPN is a popular solution in the service provider as well as broadband service provider network. Second, it is having a globally ENTC, one organization which is working on the interoperability test. In that case also, it is not only just not only for the product of the particular company, but it is a vendor agnostic solution. So whether it is Nokia, Cisco, Juniper, Huawei, everywhere this solution can work interoperability. So this I can say this 8 vendors also tested and 24 test cases already tested by interoperable in that case. So in that case I can sense if you are having any hardware across the network, any brand, you can connect your network with the help of EVPN solution. So with that I can say there is a vendor agnostic multi-vendor solution EVPN which will be useful in today's network. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. So let's quickly move on to another session. So for this, अब त नेपालीमै भन्दा हुन्छ होला सायद केस इङ्ग्लिस बोल्ने पार्ट गाह्रो भयो अब चाहिँ एज एन एनपिनोगले जहिलेबाट यो प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट गरेको थियो हरेक एडिसनमा चाहिँ एउटा लर्निङ अपर्च्युनिटी दिइरहेको थियो एज अ फेलोसिप भनेर होइन. सो एभ्री इभेन्टमा सर्टेन नम्बर अफ पार्टिसिपेन्टहरू चाहिँ एज अ फेलोज आउनुहुन्छ होइन. अनि एज एन अब्जेक्टिभ चाहिँ फेलोजहरू चाहिँ पछि गएर एज एन इन्स्ट्रक्टर ट्रेनर होस् भन्ने नै एउटा अब्जेक्टिभ हुन्छ, लर्निङ अपर्च्युनिटी हो.
ओके, फर्स्ट NPNOG10 है, यो चाहिँ यहीँ पोखरामा भएको थियो है. यहाँ सबै डिटेल पनि छ, जसमा चाहिँ जनवरी 20देखि 3 दिनको लागि भएको थियो होइन. त्यसमा चाहिँ 2टा ट्र्याकहरू थियो, नेटवर्क एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन र सिस्टम एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन. एज अ सिस्टम गाई म चाहिँ सिस्टम ट्र्याक चुज गरेको थिएँ है. त्यसमा चाहिँ हाम्रो चतुर्थ साथीले हाम्रो सहयोग हुनुहुन्छ है. उहाँलाई पनि फेरि पनि थ्याङ्क यू सर भेरी मच. त्यस्तै रुपेश सर हुनुहुन्छ है, त्यस्तै आशिष सर हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूलाई धेरै धेरै थ्याङ्क यू. मैले सिस्टम एडमिनको रूपमा चाहिँ के सिकेँ भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ जस्तै यो टेक्स्ट एडिटरहरू कसरी युज गर्ने, कसरी अझै इफेक्टिभ तरिकाले युज गर्ने भन्ने कुराहरू होइन. जस्तै पासवर्डलेस एसएसएच कसरी गर्न सकिन्छ. अस्ति भर्खरै के अरे हाम्रो अहिलेको वर्कसपमा पनि यही कुराहरू पनि भइरहेको थियो. जस्तै डिएनएस ट्रीहरू हायरार्कीहरूको बारेमा पनि एकदम डेप्थमा डिस्कसन भइरहेको थियो त्यतिखेर है. अनि लेट्स इन्क्रिप्ट अनि हाम्रो वेबसाइटहरू कसरी सेक्युर गर्ने भन्ने कुराहरू पनि त्यहाँ प्र्याक्टिकली हामीले गरिरहेको थियौँ. जस्तै स्क्रिप्टिङहरू, जस्तै सिस्टम मोनिटरिङ टुलहरू, कमान्ड्सहरू पनि हामीले त्यहाँनिर हेरिरहेको थियौँ है. जस्तै मेरो त्यो NPNOG7मा सिकेपछिको इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन एउटा इक्जाम्पल भनेको चाहिँ लेट्स इन्क्रिप्टबाट मैले मेरो मोनिटरिङ टुल प्र्याक्टिस सबैलाई थाहै होला, त्यसलाई सेक्युर गरेको थिएँ होइन. त्यस्तै SANOG 39 BDNOG 16 चाहिँ बङ्गलादेश ढाकामा भएको थियो है. त्यसको चाहिँ 13 मेदेखि 5 दिनको लागि भएको थियो, जसमा 4 दिन चाहिँ वर्कसप, 1 दिन चाहिँ कन्फरेन्स भएको थियो है. डिटेल त अब यहीँ छ है. त्यसमा चाहिँ मैले खासमा 3वटा ट्र्याक थियो है. BGP and IPv6 डेभलपमेन्ट, नेटवर्क सेक्युरिटी र नेटवर्क अटोमेसन्स. म चाहिँ नेटवर्क सेक्युरिटीमा आफूलाई पार्टिसिपेट गराएको थिएँ एज अ फेलो है. जसमा चाहिँ मैले लर्न गरेको कुराहरू चाहिँ यहाँ जस्तै नेटवर्क सेक्युरिटी फन्डामेन्टल्सहरू थियो है, प्याकेट एनालाइसिसहरू, डिभाइस एन्ड इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्युरिटीहरू, BGP राउट्स लिडहरू होइन, जस्तै हनीपटहरू, नेटवर्क सेक्युरिटी, यहाँ कुराहरू पनि मैले त्यहाँनिर सिकिरहेको थिएँ. त्यसमा चाहिँ हाम्रो इन्स्ट्रक्टरहरू वायर फ्रेन्ड्स फ्रम एथनिक होइन, जस्तै समिल रेजा फ्रम बङ्गलादेश, उहाँ आफै हुनुहुन्थ्यो है पाइपलाइनदेखि. त्यस्तै त्यहाँ मैले खासमा चाहिँ यो चाहिँ सिस्टम सेक्युरिटीतिर नभए पनि यो चाहिँ कस्तो भने मैले त्यहाँनिर जाँदाखेरि नट ओन्ली वर्कसप होइन त्यो सँगसँगै मैले त्यहाँ हाम्रो म जस्तै फेलो फ्रम श्रीलङ्का आई वुड लाइक टु नेम आई वुड लाइक टु रिमेन इन नेम अमिला है आई थिङ्क नोट्स वेल उसले चाहिँ मलाई लिब्रा एलएमएसको बारेमा एकदम मजाले गाइड गरिरहेको थियो है कम्पनीमा युज गरेर यसरी यसरी युज गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुराहरू गरिरहेको थियो अनि त्यसरी नै मैले इम्प्लिमेन्ट गरेको थिएँ र यो चाहिँ मैले किन प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने किन इम्प्लिमेन्ट गरिरहेको छु भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले वर्कसपबाट मात्रै होइन यो चाहिँ एउटा कम्युनिटी बिल्ड गर्ने हो होइन त्यसरी नै कम्युनिटी बिल्ड गरेर एउटा मैले नयाँ कुरा नट ओन्ली फ्रम वर्कसप होइन फ्रम द कम्युनिटी फ्रम द फ्रेन्ड्स यसरी इम्प्लिमेन्ट गरेँ भनेर चाहिँ देखाउने चाहिँ एक्जाम्पल पनि एकदम उत्साहित भएर प्रेजेन्ट गरेको है त्यस्तै मैले ओभरअल यो एनपिनग र सानो बिडिनगमा पार्टिसिपेट भइरहँदाखेरि मैले पाएको आफ्नो बेनिफिट्सहरू चाहिँ नेटवर्कहरू मैले राम्रो तरिकाले हाम्रो सरहरू इन्स्ट्रक्टर्सहरू एप्निकदेखि नै यहाँ सरहरू हुनुहुन्छ है सबैजनालाई जस पर्सनली चिन्ने अवसर पाएँ होइन त्यस्तै स्किल डेभलपमेन्ट त अवश्य भइहाल्यो होइन त्यस्तै करियर ग्रोथहरू है पहिलेभन्दा अहिले म आफूलाई अलिकति कन्फिडेन्स फिल गरिरहेको छु होइन त्यस्तै कम्युनिटी बिल्डिङहरू भयो यो साथसाथै मैले आफ्नो अर्गनाइजेसनमा पनि आफूसँगैको कलिग्सहरूलाई पनि यस्तो यस्तो हुने रहेछ यस्तो यस्तो कम्युनिटी हुन्छ तिमीहरू जाऊ प्रेजेन्ट गर भनिरहेको छु यो अहिलेकै यो NPNOG 10मा पनि पहिले हामी 2जना मात्रै एटेन्ड भएको थियौँ अहिले 4जना भइरहेको छौँ होइन यसरी नै डेभलप गर्न प्रयास गरिरहेको छु मैले मेरो ठाउँबाट नट ओन्ली मेरो अर्गनाइजेसन पोखरा भरिने पनि मेरो सँगसँगैको साथीहरूलाई पनि यस्तो यस्तो हुन्छ भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ सेयर गरिरहेको छु होइन अनि अघि ठ्याक्कै अहिले फेरि सम्झेँ होइन अहिले चाहिँ म NPNOG 10मा पनि पार्टिसिपेट भएको थिएँ होइन अघि हाम्रो अभिषेक सरले देखाइरहनु भएको थियो कन्टेनराइजेसनको बारेमा एकदम त्यो पनि मलाई एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट एकदम इफेक्टिभ हुन्छ जस्तो लागिरहेछ अब भोलि त छुट्टी भयो पर्सिदेखि नै त्यसको लागि म चाहिँ मोर डिस्कसन मोर रिसर्च गरेर त्यसलाई इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्छु भनेर एकदम म यहाँदेखि नै सरहरूलाई पनि इन्स्ट्रक्टरहरूलाई पनि के भन्नु प्रुभ गर्न कि के भन्छ अब त्यो गर्न चाहन्छु है यो चाहिँ हाम्रो बङ्गलादेशमा हुँदाखेरि है त्यहाँ एक दुईवटा फोटोहरू खिचेको थियौँ जस्तै हाम्रो फेलोहरू हुनुहुन्छ है हाम्रो इन्स्ट्रक्टर फ्रम बङ्गलादेश समीम सर है हाम्रो इभेन्टहरू भएको थियो बिचमा है हाम्रो जस्तै हाम्रो वायरलेस हाम्रो इन्स्ट्रक्टर हुनुहुन्छ है अनि यहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो अलिकति घुमघाम पनि भएको थियो है त्यसको प्रेजेन्टेसन अलिकति फोटोहरू अनि अलिकति हटाउनु भयो रहेछ Okay, at the last, I would like to give gratitude to those entire NPNOG community. जस्तो मलाई यता फेलोसिपमा यसरी अवसर दिनुभयो होइन जस्तै सानो कम्युनिटी जस्तै मलाई सानोमा पनि फेरि फेलोसिपमा जानको लागि अवसर दिनुभयो जस्तै NPNOG स्पोन्सर्सहरू सानो फेलोसिप स्पोन्सरहरू अनि सानो होस्ट आइसप्याबहरू NPNOGहरू के अरे बिडिनगहरू है एट द एन्ड अनि नट द लास्ट ethnic foundation है at last but not the least I would again want to thank NPNOG for organizing such events for the people like us who are working as a शब्दै आएन क्या
Thank you, bro. रमाइलो थियो तपाईँको एक्सपिरियन्स सुन्न अब
people like you who will be the standard bearers in the coming years. When people like us start to retire and enter that golden phase of life, if the higher power wants it, and carry the memories forward, it is people like you who will be bearing the torch forward and become the standard bearers and become experts. And actually, to be frank, I am feeling more nervous than you did. And I loved the candid nature in which you presented your remarks. You outlined your experience in the various programs you have participated. the way you learned and the way you gained from these interactions. So that is what these programs are all about. This is not about making money. This is not about these people from Cisco, Nokia making tremendous amount of market over here or creating a lot of business. It is about sharing experiences and enriching our own learning so that we can go back to our organizations, solve our problems, and then when the events are organized like this, come back here and pay back, contribute more, and you paid back amazingly. Because looking at you, I'm feeling energized. I thought people have given me this keynote speech out of nowhere, and I do not have any qualification to be giving a closing keynote in such a program wherein almost 14 presentations have been made in a single day, and all of them were packed with a lot of knowledge, experience, messages, and the way forward in terms of solving the problems, in terms of identifying the areas of improvement, and in terms of making sure that our networks, our infrastructures are robust, our customers are happy, our systems are running well, and our people, our administrators, our security guys have good night's sleep. So, having said that, I'd like to draw your attention to a small number of slides, which are again drawn from the internet, to be frank. If you search once, it becomes a search. If you search again and again, it becomes a research. So that is how I came up with this slide. And recently, I've been in Nepal Telecom, as many of you might know, many of the old guys might know, and many of the new guys should know from now. I've been there since 1999 August. Maybe that is the longest anybody here is in any organization. Terry, are you there longer than that? Okay. I am the second one. Anyways, that's pretty long. I celebrated Silver Jubilee of graduation last year and Silver Jubilee of Nepal Telecom enrollment this year. Thank you for that. So recently what has happened is that we network people and we service provider people are always worried about running our infrastructure, keeping our customers happy, and as many people outlined earlier today, this business is becoming more and more challenging in terms of the shrinking revenues, in terms of those practical challenges from the regulation or the environment or the change in the socio-economic environment, or nowadays cutting of those wires by different authorities and so on. And most of the revenue is flowing out of the country in terms of the OTT services. So we are basically raising the rent of raising the toll of the road, but we are not getting anything in terms of the services being carried on the road. We are basically road toll guy nowadays, isn't it, Ramkishanji or Subhasji? That's what they also feel, and that's what I also feel, because telco is not that different from ISP nowadays, because voice is gone, almost going zero, SMS is gone, so we are basically selling data pipes. And telcos are ISPs and ISPs are almost telcos, because all the voice runs everywhere in terms of OTTs, and nobody gets any money out of that. Still, security is there. When the pipe breaks, when the broadband connection breaks, when you do not have 4G connection or 5G connection for that matter in your handset, what you call blame is the telcos or ISPs. And these security challenges are increasing in such a way that every day new things are coming up. 25 years ago, a couple of guys staring whole day on a black screen would be enough for security. Rupesh, isn't that true? It was. Because all they did was some ACLs and routers and some IP table policies, and we are done. There are nothing called firewall, nothing called. There are so many firewalls and security solutions at the moment, but they were not there. As Gauravji in the morning pointed out, the complexity rises when we have to achieve scale. And with that complexity, the complexity in terms of solutions also rise. and the options open to you also rise. And the word conundrum is related to confusion, as you might know. People like us who have to select the solutions or convince our management to select a particular solution are in confusion, whether the solution is appropriate enough for my particular situation, or whether am I being guided like in a departmental store or queue that this is something bought by that person, should I also buy it or not? Am I missing something by not buying it? Am I missing something by not adopting this particular architecture and technology or solution? So that is the confusion that people like us have all the time. And I thought, can we talk about this? And I asked Ramkrishnaji, can I talk about this? And the graceful person that he is, he said yes. So let's see how it goes. There are not many slides, all are from, I don't know where to point this. I think the device is there, isn't it? Can you switch the slide? Okay. See, the most unnatural remarks about security is coming from business people or from groups which are not related to the internet operation or security and so on. If you search security related quotes, you would get quotes from Forbes, you would get quotes from the World Economic Forum and people like that, not from people like Nokia or Cisco or even Checkpoint like that. So fundamentally I like this because it talks about complexity, it talks about the rising skills that people were talking about in the morning also, and complexity is something that is exploited by the attackers, and complexity is something that is making our lives very difficult because it's like weighing frogs. If you try to want to weigh a kilo of live frogs, you put 20 of them and think it's 950 grams, you put one more and one jumps out. It is always less than what we want to weigh. So the solution, security orchestration solution, designing of the architecture is also like that. That's my personal feeling. I think it is supported by a few other people as well who have been working in this area. And as the situation gets more complex, the more holes that you have, the more bolts and nuts that you have in a house, the more points of vulnerability are there for the attackers. That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, I'm going backwards. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. 25 years ago, everything was simple, network was less, people are running ISPs on 2 Mbps satellite pipe, and nowadays 500 times that is given to a single customer. So that scale has given rise to a lot of different services, different infrastructure, different systems that run on those infrastructure and services, and then that has commoditized pipe. So if people cannot eat, do not get to eat for 2 days, they won't complain. But if they do not have Wi-Fi, they will complain. And they also need less advertisement, less security, less hacking, but more of that service. That's what the situation is at the moment. And nowadays this AI thing, it has own risks. People say that artificial intelligence would solve a lot of problems, but now we realize that it is a Pandora's box of another set of large number of problems. And maybe AI will help solving its own problems or create more problems, that is to be seen. See, this is part of what I wanted to highlight. I was talking about an IP tables policy page on a Linux screen or a list of access list on a router terminal, again on a black screen. But this is the situation at the moment wherein there are so many things, top 10 security solutions, top 20 security solutions, top 50 security solutions, and people like us, people like Rupesh, Samet, probably not Gaurav, because his area is pretty focused at the moment. And people like that buy earlier will have a hard time deciding what to do and what not to do. As in Hamlet, the character says, to be or not to be, or to do or not to do. And this has also created a lot of career for people. Earlier there was nobody called as Chief Information Security Officer, and whatnot. And it has created an entire line of career for people. That's a good thing, but for employers, that's a headache. And look at how security officers or security officers sent to people are behaving at workplace and at home. They are bashing their kids, they are throwing their goods around, they are banging their heads, and still not able to find a proper solution that do not have to throw away tomorrow because something new crops up. And guys, it's all about money. People out there are innovating, of course, that's a good thing. The area of innovation in terms of capacity, in terms of bandwidth, in terms of CPU are almost done, at least for people like us. So what we can do is find the new areas of vulnerabilities, amplify them and create a solution for them, create a market for them, and create a feeling in people like us that, am I missing something here? Am I creating a situation of vulnerability for my organization? Am I a culprit of indecision or lack of choice, or not being able to patch a hole in time so that my business is protected and I end up spending more than I am supposed to protect in terms of my earnings there. So security industry is more than $1 trillion industry. You can see at the various infographics later when you have time or if you have intentions. So long story short, those good old days wherein people like Gaurav were starting their career, I was doing internship in Mercantile, they were running Linux user groups, I was just trying to figure LS and PS on a Linux machine or IP basics on a router. Those were very simple lives. ACLs, IP tables, it might sound familiar for people of those old days, but not so much for new people. Role-based access control on the Unix machine, then scripts, pure scripts, shell scripts, and then a lot of monitoring, a lot of gawking on those black screens, whole days. I was in WorldLink office one of those days, and there were a lot of people, 3-4 people looking at the black screen almost for entire day. Was it Samitji? Because they were trying to pinpoint whether some anomalies would be seen on the live log of systems and then try to catch. Wherein if some customer went wrong or some link fell down, there was nothing called a dashboard. Even MRTG was not that fashionable, wasn't it? So people had to go up at the black screen all the time. But nowadays, A to B is a lot more complicated than those days. We have a lot more choices, and that's where the problem is, and that's where the solution is as well. Because if we have been able to move from 2 Mbps pipe on a Intelsat, incidentally, Nepal Telecom Internet started with a 2 Mbps pipe, as Gauravji earlier outlined. It was from our station in, not here, but in Kathmandu, where I stand, it is on that direction. So I got it in that direction. In Malambu on the highway, on the side of the highway. Okay. And it was carried by a satellite. It was a big satellite, not DVB. Or it was called SCPC satellite. And it landed in Hamburg, and from there it rode an undersea cable to New York, and so much khichdi was cooked for a single 2 Mbps pipe. And it was around 2009 or so that we had a cross-border connection, even again in E1 levels. Then we moved on to other higher capacity. So that's how we have moved, but nowadays the BYOD personal device issues. Then DDoS, a lot of people talked about DDoS earlier today. And IoT, again, individual devices being hacked and being used as gateways into the network, into the home network, into the enterprise network. And social media, gentlemen from police talked a lot about social media being a very dangerous thing and so on. And online gaming security, and then people are talking about containerization, there are VM isolation related securities, containerization related security issues, cloud related securities. Oh my God. The more solutions, the more branches, which branches, the more Hangabinas there are in technology and services, the more security risks are there. So that is basically the spirit of it. So we talk about clouds, we talk about auditing response, and the bottom 3 lines. We talk about the human errors, configuration drifts, and then misconfiguration, and then attacks evolving. Somebody, attacker also keeps on monitoring you. And we have seen in real life also, chore is always ahead of police, isn't it? The thief is much more smarter in terms of finding vulnerabilities in people's houses, in their offices, in their wallets, and then try to figure out how to capitalize on that. And police, they just follow a lot of the time. They chase the chore up and try to catch, and then figure out how that person did what he did. So this is how it goes. Again, we can move on from there. It is all about a cloud and intangible. It is something you cannot see, touch, but it is there. It's like God nowadays. You see, everything is happening, but you don't know how it is happening, where it is happening, where the silicon is, where the power is, where the data center is, and it is happening, and somebody comes and says, sir, you have to adopt this solution to secure your VMs or secure your applications and make sure that the data stream between your mobile application and the cloud server is safe and secure and sound, and you end up buying that, isn't it? Please tell me if I am wrong. I'll be happy to acknowledge. And let's skip IoT, let's skip how you secured it, again the same story. And then nowadays, they say computing has been commoditized. We get everything as a service. We get security as a service as well, don't we? We get security as a service, we get security operation centers as a service, everything as a service. And then maybe now down the line, managing those as a service as well. And then it will be hard to figure out how people like you and us will do it, what people like you and us will do. Again, maybe we might be employed by people like them. Basically, the baseline, again, this is again the tricky stuff, because these are identified and recommended by people who have an easy life. They do not have to run a telco or ISP. They just sit there, study people's behaviors, new threats, study white papers, and then prepare reports, carry out those stupid things called security audits, go into people's networks, and then create reports and draw their dollars out of that. And these are good things, by the way. They tell us where to look at, how to look at, how to identify issues, what to do to solve those issues, and how to know if those issues are really solved or not. But again, the red ones might be skipped and the other ones might be important. Let's study them in detail later on, because we all must be tired. I am, at least. And this industry of fear and the industry of having, whether I missed something, have you ever felt that when you stand on a departmental store payment line, you have a couple of bags of shopping, those are essentials, And then people will start picking from those front racks, the polos, the chocolates, the batteries and so on. And the people on this side picks up 5 things. We also itch to pick at least 4 or 5 of those. And it's only after you reach home that you realize you bought 5 things that are needed and 10 things that are not actually needed. And that's how this situation is also, because you come into forums like this, you have a chat, guys, what you are doing for security in your solution. How are you securing your VMs? How are you securing your SD-WANs? How are you ensuring that your VPNs are stable as well as secure at the same time? How are you ensuring that your databases are safe and sound and SQL injection is not killing them? And every people will have a different set of experience, solutions, tools, practices that are in place in their own context. And suddenly every other person will feel, I might have to do this as well. And then again that FOMO thing comes up, and again you end up buying something that is entirely useless, or useless to some extent, but not entirely necessary. That's what the whole spirit of this is about. And then there are people to look up to, experts who might be experts but not really suited to your own particular to your own particular situation. Somebody was telling earlier, I think Gauravji it was, that situation in USA and situation in Japan, situation in Europe are different. Even though it's all about traffic, the situations, actual practices, actual things to do, or even the traffic patterns in front, ahead of a football match or American football match are different. So we have to keep our eyes and ears open, but we may not need necessarily to be guided by all of those people. So for that also, gathering like this will be important. I had a conflicting remark regarding this gathering, but rest assured, these gatherings open up the possibilities, and what we have to do is map those possibilities into our own situations and not guided by competition to be fashionable, to be savvy, to be seen as complex or whatnot. And again, those certifications, qualifications, accreditations, let's skip those. These are all economic stuff. Let's not delve too deep into it. Fine. Towards the end, as Socrates said, know thyself. In our own Sanatan tradition also, it is important to know your own self. I think it is there in every ancient philosophy. The connection here is that you, after participating in these discussions, sharing these experiences, hearing from the experienced people who have done wonderful stuff in different places, what we have to do is go back and see our own individual situations, our own infrastructure, systems, networks, how they are done, what are the good practices that are suitable for us, rather than following what others are doing, because that will be a problem, and that conundrum that we have been talking about will keep on increasing without getting solved. As many people have said today, not one solution fits all. So every operator is seen in some respect that it has risks and challenges, but different in terms of strategies, tools, people's practices, and other stuff that is. So it's kind of a unity in diversity at the same time, and what I have seen.
Say, and the changes going around, at least in context of Nepal. So in context like 5Gs are coming and different aspects of security or agents are also being expanded. So my question particularly is, from your side, how do you see the 5 years journey in terms of security, where there are policies, where there are bureaucracies, where there are risk appetite, piggybacking of investment and things. So what might be your perspective?
Okay, so I think NEP deserves an award for highest number of questions today. I love that. We should also have an award for that because it's all about interaction. Talking about 5 years down the line on the innovation versus adaptability, I think let me know if I'm trying to capture your correctly, capture your remarks correctly. See, in a field like this, wherein the pace of innovation is so high, regulation cannot predetermine what's coming down the line. Regulation always follows innovation in every sector, and more so in IT sector, wherein the pace of development is so much. And especially in places like ours, wherein a single piece of regulation takes a lot of time, it has to go through different layers of red tape and a lot of confusion, and then a lot of infusion of confusing ideas from different sectors, different interest groups. And people, decision makers there do not have an easy life because they are always trying to do the best thing but end up making a camel out of their creation by listening to too many things and trying to focus on everything at the same time. So in terms of security, innovation is always good. Philosophically, innovation is always good. And as people tend to say, human life and society has not been better in entire history compared to what we have today. But we also have challenges because new challenges, AI challenges. We saw the video from from police today, the social media challenges, the challenges of this confusion of technology that we just talked about. This will be part of life for us, and as we consolidate those different streams of IT sector into a single box of silicon running multiple software on a virtualized platform, I hope at the physical layer, at the data-centric layer, the security solution will converge. It will be highly simple, highly consolidated. We talked about a single dashboard for multiple solutions earlier today. That will happen. But what will increase in terms of challenge is that on a single box of silicon, we will be running 1,000 applications. And those 1,000 applications will have a million different kinds of audiences and services, and their own QoS challenges, availability challenges, and so on. And that will pose an increasing challenge for people. Nowadays, people will, from now onwards, I think people from Nokia or Cisco and stuff like that can explain better. We will move into an area wherein a lot of development will focus on software part, wherein actual silicon will be done by 2 or 3 big people out there. Everybody will try to adopt them. And application related challenges, and Terry was earlier talking about open source and its own security benefits. So maybe open source will again have a resurgence in terms of its adoption by people out there, because recently we moved away from open source to licensed regime. Maybe we have more open source having more of a sway. I don't know. That's just a speculation, and you might have to invite me 10 years down the line to verify.
Thank you.
And I might be retired by that time.
Any more? Anyone?
Any simple remark will do. I don't need questions because I might not be able to answer, but any good remark will be good, will be useful. I would love to hear from participants.
Thank you, sir. That was really
You had an
insightful.
amazing presentation earlier today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, by your experience and your wisdom, what would you suggest the next generation in terms of the growing technology? What would you suggest us to focus on? Or how would you suggest us to move ahead in this ever-evolving threat landscape or enhancements?
Okay, I'm not a Jyotish, by the way. See, as we also talked earlier, things are moving away from devices to services. Because devices will be done by somebody else. If we adopt cloud in this space and keep on adopting everywhere in every part of life, in businesses, in personal and in professional life, then it's like nowadays. If you ask a person, ask a child from an urban area, where does milk come from? You'll say that it will come from that cocoa of milk. You will not say milk comes from a cow or a buffalo or whatever. In the same way, down the line, we will say that I need Google Apps, I need Facebook, I need X or Twitter or whatever, but I don't know where it resides, where that photo comes from, where that particular text is stored or whether it is stored or not. So people will have to move into applications and services development. So hardware will become more and more abstract, more and more invisible, and people like us, again, will have to diversify our services into being a platform or a connectivity provider to service and content provider. That's what is likely to happen, because it was in 2014 or so. We have a gentleman from Japan. Somebody from Sumitomo told me in my company during a meeting that KDDI, I think it was KDDI person told me that we are no longer a telco company in Japan. We are a lifestyle company. So telco pipe or connectivity is only one of our businesses. And I think in Nepal, that's what we are lagging behind. We are still focused on the selling of the pipes, from which revenue is rock bottom now, isn't it? So what we may have to do down the line is create our own content services. And that again is a challenge, because as we talked about earlier today, most of the contents being used by people are from the cloud and from the big three. So how do we create a new service or content, and then make sure that it competes against those guys and is able to create revenue. So that's a big challenge, but it is a challenge that we will thrive. So let's see. I don't have a good answer to that question. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Kijush sir. Thank you. Your session was mind-blowing and hilarious at the same time. Thank you, we enjoyed it.
I'm honored.
So let's move on. It's now time to recognize the efforts that were put in. So for that, I would like to invite Managing Director of NPIX, Chair of SANOG, the dashing and evergreen, Rupesh Shrestha. Please welcome him. And with this, I will hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Puneet. Excellent moderation. You have almost last part ever. Yetro event गर्दाखेरि स्पिकर्सहरूले टाइम दिनुभयो, तपाईहरु सबैले टाइम दिनुभयो, स्पोन्सर्सहरूले पैसा दिनुभयो, सो सबैजनाले केही न केही कन्ट्रिब्युट गरिदिनु भएको छ. So I think it's time to give some kind of due respect to what everyone's done. म स्पिकर्सहरुबाट सुरु गर्छु. Probably we can I'm not sure like कतिजना स्पिकरहरु यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ अहिले पनि. So maybe from there. So first let me invite Mr. Gaurav Samit Jana over here so that we can give away this token of love. Our calendar just so this is something that we are going to give this year. First of all, I would like to invite Mr. Gaurav Rajapadhyay to come up and accept this token of love on behalf of. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gaurav for coming all the way from America, US, and giving this keynote presentation. Next, I would like to request KP Bhandari sir to come up front for his important keynote presentation. Next, Pupudu Jayasinghe from APNOG. Pupudu, if you can come up.
Focus here.
Minister class, small class activity.
Garba.
Next, Yoshinobu Matsuzaki.
Focus. Focus to be in
Matsan, as we love, we call him with love. Matsan. Thank you, Matsan, for applying all the way from Japan. Next, our beloved trainer and training manager, Mr. Terry Shrestha. Thank you, Terry. It's been like, what, 3 weeks? 2 weeks? So it's been 2 weeks, Terry. So thank you very much for staying this long, and I hope you had good stay, enjoyable stay in Nepal, and had good momos. Did you? Did you like it? Did you learn any Nepali?
Namaste.
Thank you, Terry. Next, Nirajan Parazuli. Nirajan? He's not, oh yeah, he's there. Nirajan, thank you, Nirajan. It was a good presentation today. Vinay Heda.
Bhaiya?
Vinay, are you there?
Remote on with it. Okay, namaste everyone. As we bring NPNOG10 to a close, I am filled with immense pride and gratitude for what we have achieved together over the past few days. The 10th edition of NPNOG has been a celebration of learning, collaboration, and innovation. We have had an incredible lineup of workshops and sessions with key topics like network automation, advanced routing, and containerization taking center stage. A heartfelt thank you to NPNOG, whose support was instrumental in organizing 2 impactful workshops on network automation and advanced routing. These workshops equipped with participants with practical tools and strategies to address modern network challenges, ensuring that the knowledge gained here can be directly applied in real-world environments. Our expert trainers shared invaluable insights, bridging theoretical knowledge with hands-on experiences. The dedication they brought to their session has left a lasting impact on everyone involved. Today's conference was equally engaging, featuring thought-provoking talks on critical topics like cybersecurity, internet infrastructure, and emerging technologies. We are particularly grateful to our Gaurav Raj Upadhyay for his inspiring keynote address, which set the tone for a day of deep learning and excellence. I would also like to extend my thanks to our sponsors, without whom this event would not have been possible. Your support ensures NPNOG continues to grow as a platform for knowledge sharing and professional development. A big round of applause goes to our organizing committee and volunteers for their tireless efforts behind the scenes. You have truly made this event seamless and enjoyable to all. To our participants, you are the core of NPNOG. Your enthusiasm, curiosity, and contributions make this community vibrant and forward-thinking. The discussions and ideas shared here over the past 5 days will no doubt ripple out, influencing networks, businesses, and individuals across Nepal and beyond. As we close NPNOG10, let's not think this as an end, but as a milestone in the journey that continues. Let's take the skills, knowledge, and connections from this event and put them to work, shaping a more robust and connected future. Thank you once again for being a part of this incredible journey. Safe travels, stay curious, and I look forward to seeing you at NPNOG11 at Kathmandu. Namaste and see you next time. And lastly, Our social dinner will be at Barahi, Hotel Barahi at 6:45 p.m. Right? Okay. Thank you.